Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I think I caught about a half-hour cat
We're
nap.
not.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah,
I
we're
could just do
live.
like this.
We're
Wow.
live. You know that, right?
You are live?
Yeah, you're
I
on.
don't see it live.
Oh, no?
No. Are you live?
I think we
It
are.
says you're live.
We are. You're live. We got two people waiting. Wake Up News is here. Perfect timing.
Wake up news in the house. How come I can't see it on your channel here? Let's see. I'm looking.
I
Videos.
just got it coming up
Oh, it's
now.
live. There it is. Yeah.
It
Yeah. So
is. Say hi to
let me mute that.
photohelix.
Hi, all. Okay, so I can type in the chat room, but I'm not going to be able to type much. So let me type right there. Hold on.
Ooh,
That's
caught
what
me,
you
boy.
like. Oh wow, you see my eyes there. That's crazy. So how are you, Suso?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm tired as heck today, let me tell you. I should have never laid down. Of course, there's the whole cat fiasco going on, but I had to resign to, hey, he's going to come out when he comes out. I can't worry about that. He's got to be
You've
down.
thought him into a new dimension.
I knew you were going to do that. Yeah. I shifted. I'll just have to wait the shift back before he shows up.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a shame. I had Buttercup over here crying at me, and I'm like, well, I don't know what that is because she never cries. She never has to ask for food. He's always asking for it. So I'm like, uh-oh.
I'm trying to figure out. There we go. Now you got my little camera icon, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what do you think, man? Notre Dame is on fire.
Oh, excuse me. I heard somebody else. I saw somebody else type that in one of my chats. I didn't know what they were talking about. I thought they meant the basketball team.
Yeah, well, yeah, that would have been a good thing. Like if the team was on fire, they're scoring and that kind of stuff. You really got a bunch of stealth cereal boxes, bro.
I I need to box this stuff up. I think when I was on Dark Wolf's Den channel, he asked me, he's like, "You have more of that stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's about 30 more things right over there," and just had nowhere to put them that would actually show up on camera. Yeah, but I figure I was sitting here and walking around trying to see what would show up. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's just background. And I can't wait to box the stuff up, tell you the truth.
You're looking tired. What kind of, I mean, are you going to be able to pull off some sort of that marathon you're talking about doing, man? What's going on with you?
Well, let's see. I started at 7 this morning, and I'm still going. We're talking it's 11 hours.
But how much sleep did you get before you started this fiasco?
Oh, maybe 5 hours. I was tr- I was trying to put myself to sleep as soon as I was done work, and I ended up coming upstairs and I noticed Brian Stavely had a show on, and I just said something in the chat. He had people calling in. Next thing you know, he's like, "Yeah, Suso, call in." So I sat around for a little bit and then talked with him for a good half hour or so. It was so long ago, I don't even remember it. I do remember, putting out all my ideas and just coming out with things. And a lot of people said it was a good little talk. So, but that after that, I got off of that show and I'm like, okay, go lay down, And whenever I finally laid down, ooh, excuse me.
Oh, don't start that now. You're
Yeah,
gonna make me sleepy. You gotta quit yawning. See that? That says, "Oh God, photos on. I'm boring."
oh no, I've been doing this since Waking Saint at 8 a.m., which I did get on that show, by the way.
Did
We
you?
we ended up being on his channel. We tried everything we could to get on my channel. I couldn't get him on my channel. I didn't know how to figure all this stuff out. So he said he was going to go check it out. He went through it, figured it out, brought me on his channel. And at the end of that show, he walked me through it to get me to figure out how to do all this now.
You could tell everybody you're having effects from eating that snowball the other night.
I think I mentioned that somewhere.
Oh, stop it, man! Hold your breath and count to 10 or something. Oh, there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Susso, the man. Now, what was once the man is now Dream World.
I know it'll wake me up. I don't really want to do it, but all right, I got
You
it.
can't, yeah, don't do it online, right? It don't look too hot. Eat some of that stale cereal behind you. That'll snap, crackle, and pop you back in.
Oh, that stuff's probably still sale. If there's still anything in that box still, that's awful. Most of those things are empty. I think there's half of the peanut butter's left. I actually was eating that for a while, and I said, I'm done.
Wake Up News is passing out coffee in the chat room, bro.
Coffee, that's what I could use. I got 2 cups right here. Both of them are freezing.
You need to go nuke you a cup of coffee. Can you carry your camera with you?
I cannot.
Well, that's not good.
Are you going to entertain these people while I'm 5 minutes?
How am I supposed to entertain them? They can't even see me.
Oh, yeah. What have you been up to? Everybody's been wondering what you've been up to.
Well, let's see. I got to go out here mowing my yard. My weed eater's messed up, so I had to go buy a new weed eater. I was supposed to be on with you earlier today, and you caught me. I was in the line trying to get out with the new weed eater and get that out there. So they're out there fiddling with that now. Oh, you got to stop the yawning. You're killing me, Susso.
Do that. I'll just do that. You don't know. I think I yawned a couple of times, but then after I got up, I just got up now and I was walking out of the room and the alarm went off and I said, "You're kidding me."
Awesome, man. Landon Pets is in the room, and Robin Neely, she says, "Hi, Susso, photo, everyone." I haven't seen Robin in a long time. Wake Up News, of course, as always, and Data Junkie. Is it data or data? Tomato. What do you think?
I'm going to go with data.
Data Junkie.
I bet it is.
I bet it is.
I'll go with it. Or not.
But if it was an E instead of an A on the end, it would be date, not dat, right?
That's true.
So A and E is still both vowels, so why isn't it data?
We all know we shifted when it's DETE.
Yeah, but D's always silent, sort of like the N in dilemma.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I learned to spell that word, because the teacher said you can always remember it's quite a dilemma to remember the N. Dilemma.
Right. To remember how to spell it when the spelling test came up.
Exactly. And now it never existed. That's the craziest thing, right? I'd like to hook up with all my old teachers and ask them some questions. Say, what were you feeding me back then?
Yeah, well, and it's just the same thing. Well, whether it existed for them or not, I don't know. What do you think?
Got a lot of people that would remember. Hey, Brandon Halser's in the room. Still dealing with some things, but better. Glad you asked. How are you? And Wendy Crenshaw says, photohelix, Susso, good evening. Is it evening? I guess it is.
Well,
it is. Yeah, it's evening for me.
It must be. Sure. I got 10 of 6. For you.
Yeah, it's like 8 o'clock or something. 10 of 8, I guess.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So I got to catch just a part of you talking to earlier with, you were talking about Star Trek. Oh, my goodness. Nobleness D. You was talking to Nobleness D. I think you had God's Armor on there also.
Yeah, we were doing Voyager, Mandela.
Yeah.
Which I think's interesting. I didn't expect Noble to bring that up, but he said he noticed some things on the ship he wanted to talk about, and I started talking about the episodes that I noticed were switched from season 1 to season 2, and how the acting was bad and the angles looked different than I remember. But some of that stuff I could have misremembered. But there's TV shows I'll go rewatch and I'll swear I'm like, wow, I didn't see that episode, or I must.
Isn't that neat though? It's like going back and starting all over. It's a brand new line of conditioning.
Sure, that's that's one of the things I said on.
And that's something I've really noticed in like as far as I'm going in here to refill. Oh, can you refill my coffee?
I don't have anybody to go get my coffee for me.
Well, I got a beautiful wife that does that for me, so.
All right.
I opened the door up, and there she was. She was headed in as I was headed out, so she took off with my coffee cup.
Yeah.
Got a neighbor out here we're weed eating, and I think he picked right outside the window to start, of all places. I don't know if you can hear that in the background or not, man.
No,
I apologize.
I can't hear it.
So anyway, no, what I started to say is I was noticing a lot of the stuff that you see in mass media now, like television shows or the old shows, different things that you watch, really seem to harp on Mandela effects. You see a lot of things now referring to the Monopoly man with no monocle. And even though it was in the old shows, there's that residual or residue, whatever you want to call it. But people are talking in the shows, the talking heads and all that. They bring up certain aspects that we know are Mandela effects, and it's just crazy.
You think it's on purpose?
Yeah, because you got the new wave, the new younger generation that they're definitely trying to make sure they think that we are all crazy. Yeah. All those that can see these things.
Well, we do know there are younger generations catching on to these things. And like I said on one channel, the video I put on at 7 a.m. I had this young lady on, and I asked her a couple Mandela effects, and they're like Stofers, and they're like stovetop stuffing. Nope, don't know anything about it. How many people were in the car when JFK was assassinated? Nope, don't have a clue. All right, how do you spell Berenstein Bears? Oh, this is the Mandela effect. Yeah, and she knew about the Mandela effect, but she's affected, and she blows it off as a conspiracy.
Well, and that's the thing that I never understood. If you've got all these people out here that they'll guess if you don't mention the Mandela effect, it's like the word Mandela is almost like a turn-on switch. It's almost, you think of MK Ultra and those igniting words. You get a phone call and click whatever the word is. The next thing you know, you've got a crazed killer on your hands. It's like a turn-on switch when you say Mandela effect or quantum effect. I think you can get away better with quantum effect, but ultimately, you can ask them all kinds of stuff, man, and they'll answer just like you remember. You just say, hey, you remember when? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, and you can get into a good conversation over all those memories. And then you say, well, according to history, it was never that way. And then they look at you like you've lost your bonkers or whatever, and then it's an easy way to open up that door. I went into Walmart and I found these dog tags. I hadn't shared it over there with Awakened Saint. And in the dog tags over in the jewelry department, they got these dog tags. They got some bracelets in there. And, it's not real expensive jewelry, but it's jewelry just the same. And they got the dog tags that say the Lord's Prayer. And it says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And they've got rings to match it and different things like that. And it's like, wow, man, that's nowhere in any Bible anywhere. It doesn't say forgive us our trespasses. It used to. The First Lady even quoted it, Everybody
that.
Everybody remembers that. I mean, you go to funerals. Go ahead.
I remember when I saw the word debts for the first time. I mean, this is long before Mandela effect came up or anything. I remember that. So that was years ago. And I looked at that, and I had to laugh. I thought, oh, okay, well, they're bringing guitars and drums and, and rock and roll into church now. I guess they're going to modernize the Bible too. And so
well, see, debts and debtors was always written in the book of Luke. And even it don't say that now. It says sins and debtors. It says, forgive us our sins as we forgive our debtors, which doesn't make sense exactly. And then in Matthew is where it always said, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And then just right after the prayer is finished, Christ's words there in red says, for if you forgive not those who trespass against you, the Father can't forgive your trespasses. And it's like, well, why would he say that if it wasn't there to start with? So they didn't clear it up or finish it all. It's just parts and bits and pieces. Huh. But here's the cool thing. So I bought one of those dog tags, man, and had it, put it on, bought it right there at the counter. And the lady that was selling it to me, she says, "Oh, that's good. I remember saying that when I was a kid." And I said, "Well, yeah, forgive us our trespasses." And she was saying it right along with me, "Forgive us our trespasses." And I was like, "Yeah, but you do realize that's not actually in the Bible now." And she's like, "What? Would they change it or something?" I said, "Well, yeah, in a sense, it's never been in the Bible according to what our history is." And it blew her mind. She goes, "Well, that's a sign of the end times." I said, "Well, yeah, I think you're right."
Wow.
And so on the way out, you know how they have to check your ticket. You got that little greeter at the door. And it was a young lady there, and she said, she checked my receipt, and I had it hanging around my neck so she could see it. And I said, "Yeah, I just bought this, the Lord's Prayer on it." And she goes, "Oh, that's neat." She goes, "Yeah, I know the Lord's Prayer." I said, "Do you?" I said, "Can you quote it without being able to read it?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Prove it." And so she's, humoring me. And she says, "Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us." I said, "That's exactly what it's." And she also says, "On earth as it is in heaven," which is another. And I'm like, "That's exactly the way it says it on here. But did you know that's not in the Bible?" And she's flipping out. She goes, "No, I know it is. My grandmother taught me that in the Bible." I was like, "Well, okay, you can go get your grandmother's Bible now and check it out." And she goes, "Well, I will." So it worked out as a cool tool to get people to look into the changes really without actually doing a whole lot. Hey, Brandon Halsier, Zebs Johnson, Wake Up News, Tonette, Robin Neely, Landon Pets. I'm just hollering out at the room.
Tonette gave me a call on Michelle's Opinions show. I had a little chat with her. Yeah,
How'd that go? How'd that go? What'd y'all talk about?
nice. Oh, not much. Tonette did all the talking. Thank God. I was just listening and trying to stay with everything because it started to catch up to me quicker than I thought, boy. And I still got some time to go.
Yeah,
nice.
Wake Up News is in Great Britain, so it's only afternoon for him, and I think a couple of the others are in the UK. It's just the afternoon. Hey, Michelle's Opinions.
Yeah, the show was great. I think we had 3 or 4 callers come on. That was fun. It was a nice little change up. And I get to take a little nap. Very little.
I was one of the first people, I don't want to claim it necessarily, but I was one of the first nutcases out here hollering about it. I got up on top of the roof of my house and did a video hollering. I said, "I'm screaming out from the rooftops, man, about these changes." I said, "And it's going to get a lot more, and that was back then. I mean, my gosh, I ain't done a video in a year now. And people thought I was crazy. And the next thing you know, man, everywhere you go, people are like, "Wow, these things are really happening." And it's like, yeah, they are.
Well, what do they do with it? The community is growing. It is getting bigger. And like with the girl, saying, "Oh, it's the Mandela effect." I've had that happen a couple of times. So people are hearing about it. I'm almost surprised now when I ask people, "Did you hear about what the Mandela effect is?" And they say no. I'm almost surprised.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you mention it, it seems like people look at it and they say, "Yeah." Brian Stone says Nikola Tesla technology is what it's made of. Yeah, right. And I'm thinking, yep, right on that track. Sure enough. But yeah, you mention it nowadays, and people are like, "Oh, I've heard of that. That's some conspiracy theory or something," that kills me every time somebody uses the word conspiracy theory. It's like, has anybody ever used a dictionary in this world? The word conspiracy and the word theory, even though they're together, the idea is that a conspiracy is where two or more people conspire together to hide the truth of a matter. So that could be anybody can conspire. Look at our government. They do it all the time. And any government for that matter, the world government, the UN, you name it. Yeah. And the banking elite, they conspire together all the time. Okay, so that's a conspiracy. Well, if you think that you know of somebody together, more than one person conspiring together to hide the truth of a matter, well, if you have that theory or you have a belief then it becomes a theory unless you have proof of it. Well, if it's a theory, then okay, so now you have a conspiracy theory. But the way the media has brainwashed the public that now every time you hear the word conspiracy theory, oh, you're just a tinfoil hat wearing kind of nut.
It's just a conspiracy. Oh, I want to stay away. Even when they're affected by it, and they're just like, oh, I guess I misremembered, or I guess they changed it, or I'm sure there's some kind of explanation.
Well, there's a lot of explanations out there and a lot of different probabilities and possibilities, but because of cognitive dissonance, the majority of the people couldn't accept the truth if it slapped them in the face.
That's what's
I
happening.
mean, yeah, it's crazy.
They just go on about their 3D physical life or whatever. I mean, that's what we call it. We name it that stuff. They just go about their life the way they've been taught and told. And, because it is easier that way, you can handle it that way. Something's going to happen. I'll deal with it when it happens. I mean, that's not a bad philosophy, but at the same time, this is to me, it's pretty serious stuff. We went back when we first started talking. I was saying this is pretty serious stuff. I mean,
well, when you think about it, the majority of, well, we'll just say the people in the Mandela effect community, okay. Whether you want to call them the QA or the quantum affected or whatever, I've always said that I believe the people that see these changes are not the affected ones. If you can see it, then your eyes are open. You're awake. You're not affected. You have your memories intact. But the ones that can't see it, the ones that believe everything has always been, like the first attack on our land was in World War I with Germany taking out the Statue of Liberty. And they believe that's always been, even though we weren't taught that in our history classes. Nobody remembers that. And oh yeah, no, that's always been. It's okay. Well, if that's what you believe. But man, dude, I'm telling you, it's a crazy thing. But the majority of the world are blind. And so that tells me that we're probably in good company. We're probably the right ones.
Because they're the ones that are affected.
That they're the ones that went with the change. They're the ones that are affected, not us. We are somehow on the outside. We are somehow, and I think a danger. That's another reason that I think if you go and look at how many Mandela effect videos have been banned or at least, what do we want to say, censored, I guess, making it hard to find, or making fun in certain shows to, oh, these guys are just a bunch of crazies. Because there's a reason that, they're trying, whoever's responsible for this at the top and knows what's happening. They're like, okay, why aren't these people following with the change? Why didn't they go with this new click,
them out. I mean, if they saw, like, we say they, we don't know what that is. And I do go, I think this, that I do go with it. It's basically natural and they're manipulating it.
Yeah. Hey, shout to your chat room. I'm sitting here watching on a big screen. Brandon Halser says, okay, guys and gals, I'm going to go. Hope all have a good day and God bless.
Thanks for jumping in, Brandon.
Good. See you, Brandon. Hope we'll talk to you again soon. Him and I talk on the phone on occasion. We haven't talked in a while, but yeah, take care, Brandon. Give me a holler sometime, brother. And Brian Stone says a Bible scholar cannot see the changes. They're not denying it. They have been programmed. That's a fact. I've been studying in Scripture since I was 8. And I've seen the changes, and to me, of course, it's ink on paper. I mean, yeah, it's inspired. I believe that, but I believe Scripture is given for reproof and instruction in righteousness. Personally, I don't believe that it's the Word. I believe Christ is the Word. You know how I am.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I like the wording.
So people are stuck, and that's really where you're getting a lot of the Christians, because they believe Christ can walk on water, and that God can turn a staff into a serpent and eat 2 others, and I mean, they believe all kinds of raising the dead and all kinds of stuff that they believe supernatural, and yet they're looking at the Mandela effect and say, oh, no, that's not possible. And it's like, wow, let's just put God in a box and tell him he can't change nothing.
Yeah, trying not to do that, not trying to limit God. I mean, that's
And that's the thing too, bro. That's another thing. You know, according to what we see, everything that we're witnessing, and I mean every bit of it, has all been prophesied at one point or another, not only biblically, but in also external biblical sources, if that makes sense. You know, extra biblical sources, other prophecies from other religions and other backgrounds. All of these things that we're watching right now have been prophesied about these times that we're living in, and nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to believe that. So to be in the number, to be in the small number, to me is a
the correct
is a
one.
blessing.
Yeah,
it's the way to be. Yeah.
sure. I'd hate to be on the outside of this. I would
No
probably
kidding.
be trying to figure out a way to get in.
Well, and that's the thing too. You know, I know certain people, individuals, that they started looking at this, and they were of the opinion that we're a bunch of nuts, that certain things can't happen, and they started looking into it, and then they found a piece of something that changed their mind. They're like, oh, wait, now I know there was only 4 people in the Kennedy assassination. I've studied that all my life. Or maybe it was the Star Wars movie that got them, or C-3PO's leg. I don't know. People's got so many different ones that they link to.
Right.
And but anyway, I've known people that literally looked at this with the concept that all these people are crazy, and now they look at it like, oh man, this is prophecy fulfilling. This is real. There's more to this, and that's a cool thing, man. When people have their eyes open, and all they had to do was ask God to show them. That's where I'm getting to, is that they've asked God to show them.
Probably all did at some point.
And boom, there they see. You know, the Bible says in the last days that his spirit would pour out upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters would prophesy. Now, YouTube's full of that. But ultimately, we're seeing a lot of that happen, and the majority who's not had an experience with God, they don't know how to react to seeing like they're seeing now. And those that don't see seem to have a jealous bone about them. They're angry. Catherine Baltzell in the chat room says, hey, Photohelix, this is BamaCast 102W. I have not seen your name since I deleted my channel 2 years ago. Hope all is well with you, my brother. Good to see you, Catherine. Good to see you. I hadn't heard from you in a long time either. Wascally Wabbits in the house. Oh, everybody loves that. Bling Laden, I don't know if I said hi to him. Zeb Johnson says, back to the salt mine. See y'all. So he's getting out. Wascally Wabbit, hi everyone. Would have been here sooner, but no notification.
Yeah.
Lost in space in the house. Landon Pets packing a wrench. Yeah, so I don't know, man. There's so many things that are happening that people are flipping out. Now, one of the things I've always stayed about, that you and I have agreed on 100%, it's not something that should cause fear in people.
Should not.
You know, but so many people, because it's something they don't understand. It's just like the death subject. People don't want to talk about death, but you know, it's because they don't understand it, or they're afraid of what might be coming down the road for them, or that kind of thing.
Programmed to believe about it.
That's right. That's right.
And that's
Catherine says the ME, which is the Mandela affected, are the elect. I have a tendency to lean toward that. I believe, according to what I read in the scriptures, that that's probably correct. But also remember that the scripture says that even the very elect themselves may be deceived.
Right.
So out of those that can see, many of them are like what you refer to as new agey, or going different realms or different avenues. And you know, it's a wide variety of folks that can see. And so yeah, I don't know.
Does it prophesy anything in the Bible about what we're supposed to do?
Well, yeah.
The answer.
Well, a few of the prophecies that are in there, one of them being in Daniel chapter 7 and 25, it says, in these days, talking about the beast system and this thing that we're seeing take place,
Right.
said they would think to change the times and laws, and they would be given into his hands for a time and times and the dividing of time. Now, a pronoun there is for, or a verb, adverb, however you want to call that word. But when we look at that, we need to ask, is it for a time, as in for an avenue of time or for a derivative of time, or does it mean also for a purpose? The word for can go either way, for a limited time or for a purpose. I think it means both there, that he would divide time. It would be given into his hands to change times and laws for a time and times and the dividing of time. And that's what we hear over and over and over. And here's an interesting thing that most people don't want to hear about, but over in Scripture in the New Testament, when it's talking about the mysteries, it says that those who have love or have not the love of the truth or seek pleasure in unrighteousness, that God would allow them to believe the lie that they may all be damned. He would send this delusion. Now, he's not the one causing the changes. We see over in Daniel that he gives the ability to mankind to make these changes through scientific aspects. But for those who believe it, for example, if I tell you that the Bible never said, forgive us our trespasses, well, that's a lie. You know it's a lie. I know it's a lie. And all those who believe that it said, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass, we know for a fact that's what it said. And to believe that it didn't is a lie. To tell people that it didn't is a lie. I don't want to believe a lie. And one of my parts of my prayers, and I would urge everybody, when you make your prayers and you say your prayers and supplications before God, to ask God to never let you believe a lie, nor let you speak a lie. There's too many people out here wanting recognition in YouTube world. And they'll come up with all kinds of theories and probable possibilities. And there's nothing wrong with looking into these things because people are curious. That's a fact. And we should be. We should be trying to learn and to understand. I always pray for wisdom and understanding. I used to pray for knowledge and wisdom. Ecclesiastes, the first chapter and the last verse there was always one of my favorite verses. But with much wisdom comes sorrow, and with much knowledge comes grief. And so when we pray for wisdom and knowledge, we want to pray for understanding as well. But always pray that you'll not be falling to the deception or to the lies. And therefore, if you believe and you follow and you pray that, then God will open your eyes to all the mysteries if you will allow him, if you get where you need to be with him. And you can see all of these things unfolding, and it's like, wow, what was I missing all along? How was I missing that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wesley Wabbit says, arrogance and ego blinds one from true wisdom. Boy, that's a good one too. That's a good one. That's really true, because people have that arrogance and ego set up to where, oh, I'm better than you and I know everything there is to know. And I seen a video the other day. Paul Adams had sent me a video clip, and I was watching it, and the guy put up a pie chart, and he says on one of the pie charts, it's just blank with a bunch of notches. It says, how much information do you really know? All the knowledge in the world, which all knowledge God knows. God knows all things, okay? How much knowledge do you think we know? Well, science has already proven that just in the visual aspect alone, and in frequency of as far as what we can hear, well, we're very limited. As a humans, our species is very limited. Dogs can hear a whistle that we can't hear, so therefore they've got knowledge of something we can't even hear. You have to have certain kinds of cameras and certain filters to see the complete spectrum of the rainbow. We can only see certain ultraviolets and certain infrareds and things like that. So our color spectrum is very low on our eyes. What about the fish that swim in the bottom of the ocean in total darkness without bumping into each other? I mean, how does that work? Do you have the answers? I don't. I don't know how they do all of that. Is it sonar? Maybe. explain sonar. I don't have all the knowledge of the world. And anybody that does will automatically say, oh, well, the Mandela effect can't happen. But anybody that does is automatically claiming that they're God themselves. And we're not God. I didn't make this world. I didn't make you, and you didn't make me. We're, you see what I mean? So our line of knowledge is what we know. Okay, knowledge, you can have a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is what you know. Wisdom is how you use what you know. I can have the knowledge to be an auto mechanic and fix cars, okay? And wisdom says I can open a garage and make money doing that, fixing cars for others. But if I don't have the knowledge of how to fix my car engine and it goes bad, I have enough knowledge that tells me I can take it to someone who does that. That's the wisdom, how I use the knowledge I have. And so if I don't build houses and I want a house, I have enough knowledge about how to go about that. I'll use wisdom to get the best home builder I can get, or vice versa, and so on and so on. The point is none of us know it all. And anyone who thinks they do knows less than they probably can even imagine.
That says they know it all. Steer clear.
That's right. That's right. In the chat room, most humans judge. Oh, that one went by too quick, and I couldn't see it. That was I'm trying to get this. It was, yeah, it went up. It went too quick. Okay, it says Robin Neely says most humans judge what and who they don't understand. Only God really can properly judge. I agree. Wasky the Wabbit says basically I know nothing then, but I am willing to admit it in order to learn, even if it means unlearning. That's awesome. Michelle's Opinion says, study to show yourself approved. That's a scripture. That's true. A bird never worries. This is Brian Stone. A bird never worries about where his next meal is coming from. God provides. True. Wasky the Wabbit says, admit I know nothing. Brian Stone says, that's not saying that we need to become bird brains, though. Alone One says, wisdom is knowing what road to take. Integrity is taking it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wendy Crenshaw says, Robin Neely, I am in my 60s, but it's been over 40 years. Michelle's Opinions, exactly, photo, you're on fire. Wake Up News says, exactly, Robin Neely, not our job to judge anyone. Wake Up News also says, for we all fall short of the glory of God. That's so true. The Mind says, that's their name, The Mind says, that's one problem I've had with people. They think I know it all or act like it. I know it has to do with the way I'm acting for sure, publicly. Probably. Okay, so that catches us up in the chat room. What have you been doing, Susso? Are you still awake with us, buddy?
I am. I'm catching my second wind now, I guess. And we were talking about, the Bible verses changing. And I want to tell you, when I was on the Awakened Saints channel this morning, I brought up a verse. I said, yeah, I heard this verse changed. And I broke out my Bible that I have. It's not like I didn't buy this, or not even sure how I have it. It is a New American Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And the wording is, I couldn't tell you if it changed or not. I never looked at this passage before, but you've read quite a bit of the Bible. So I'm thinking, now when I brought this to Awakened Saints' attention, he looked at it, read it, and he went, oh, wow, that definitely changed.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it to you now. It's Acts 5, verse 30.
Let me turn over there real quick.
And it's funny. Act 5, verse 30. And he brought to my attention about Psalms. Is it the book of Psalms or is it the book of Psalm?
Well, it was always the book of Psalms because there was many of them. Then it changed during the, how everybody's talking about flip-flops. There's people actually got it quoted down and showed where it was Psalm, but now it's Psalms again.
Oh, my book still says Psalm, but the title.
Yours says Psalm? So mine still says Psalms, but I'm in an OKJV, so that makes
switched for you.
I'm sorry, it was Psalms, then it went to Psalm, and I was like, no, that's a change, man, because it always said Psalms, and now it's back to Psalms in my Bible. I can take pictures. I actually have pictures.
This is interesting. It says it's the book of Psalms. Now it goes to the first one, and it says Psalm 1. If you look in the corner, it says Psalm 2.
So that would make sense because the books, especially if it's in one of the newer ones, each passage is considered a psalm, which
As
is
a single,
technically a song, if you
right?
will. So it would be a book of songs, and the first song
Correct.
without yes, that kind of concept. What'd you
Yeah,
say? Acts
help
chapter what?
the American Bible. It's chapter 5, verse 30.
Acts 5 and verse 30. Okay. Acts chapter 5, verse 30.
Go ahead and read that and tell me if it
As
changes.
the God of our fathers raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him hath God exalted with his right hand to be a prince. Now, a lot of people say on a tree, on that cruel tree. There's songs that have been around for a long time that talked about the cruel tree. There's other scriptures that refer to it as a cross. But it's also referred to as a cruel tree because he was lifted up between the earth and the heavens. Personally, I don't think that was an actual change, but
No,
but so
okay.
many people who have it.
What Bible do you have?
It's a King James version.
Okay, now Awakened Saint also had a King James version, and he says he was quite sure it wasn't tree.
Well, I've done writings on some of these back in the day. Trust me, I'm Mandela effect all the way, man. But there's a lot of them in there that to me are not, that people, because they haven't read or studied, or because they've maybe, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, but a lot of people will go because of some other verse that they remember, and so they don't remember it being a tree at all. And again, there's other aspects of that, like the whole one about the debts and debtors, and it doesn't say debts and debtors, but people remember that too.
Just
But
something
there are changes.
came
But yeah,
across and thought I'd ask to see what you guys thought, because I am not a Bible scholar, and we were just talking on my last channel about I don't know, a couple of interviews ago. We were talking about personal Mandela effects, and could be personal, but for me, I have no clue.
well, see, yeah, a lot of times they call it the cruel tree because Michelle made that point. Is this because of Judas hung himself from a tree? If you look into, and God forbid that you have to go there, but if you look into the dark arts or into mythology or any of those things, you find out that, to hang in a tree, one that was hung was considered cursed. And that came from where Judas had done that. He went and committed suicide in a tree. And so ever since then, it was considered cursed for someone to be hung on a tree. Uh, there's actually been other aspects of history recorded to where they said his hands are above him when he was nailed to the cross. So they would have been like in an outstretched form, hands up above him. And Rome was known for that. I mean, they used to take spikes, just big, what you call like a railroad tie, and round it off maybe, or just like telephone poles, and run them down a whole roadway, and they would nail people to those. They wouldn't put in cross beams. They would just have their hands nailed up over their heads and their feet at the bottom. It only took a couple of nails that way. It saved on the iron. And people died the same way. It was still the crucifixion was still considered a really bad way to go. Here's the thing, though, is that we only know what we know. Each individual knows what they remember or what they've studied. And so it's very possible that, somebody remembers it that way. For me, I remember it being called a cruel tree. I also remember it being called a cross. It depends, take up your cross and follow me. It was always a thing that people always referred to. So yeah, it's as the old saying goes, in this particular realm, it's six of one and half a dozen of another. I can say anything. I can say there's a loop on the Ford, and well, the majority of the world don't believe it, but it's there. But it wasn't.
Right.
It
No,
was taken.
I mean, and that's like it was funny because I brought that up earlier. That what
There's a couple of things now. I'll tell you what. Let me point these out.
trying
Talk
to get
about.
my attention, because it put the big curly Q on the top F, and then I've never seen it since. But it did make me recognize the middle curly Q. Going, wait a minute, that wasn't there.
Yeah. Again, you got to remember too. Luke was the writer of the book of Acts. He's accredited as being the writer. So the book of Luke and the book of Acts would have been written by Luke, who was a doctor or a physician, and his words and terminology would have been different, obviously, than that of the tax collector Matthew, who was also the writer of Matthew. John, the Beloved, was also a different form. He used different words, all of them describing Matthew 24, Luke 13, and or Luke 21 rather, and Mark 13, all describe the same stuff as we see in Revelations chapter 6. All of them worded just a little differently, but all within the same branch. It's like you and I telling a story. You say Mandela effect, I say quantum effect, okay? Because it's much more than just a memory of somebody dying. And it's sad that the word Mandela is the word that got put on it. That's just too bad. It's what it is.
I think that was probably done strategically because of the letters M-E. It's about me. It's about you.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Michelle's Opinions makes a real good statement with one word. She says perspectives. And that's it. That's, tomato, tomato, potato, potato. The same concept is with this. Certain people will use certain words to describe the same event. You look right now over there with the church that's burning down, Notre Dame Church over there in France. And that's there's all these different people making videos about it, and they're talking about it. They're talking about the same exact thing, but they use different terminology to describe the falling of the spire or the big tower. And so does that mean that people are telling the wrong story? Vice versa, or is it just them using their different terminology? We have words that mean one thing here, and in Great Britain they mean another thing. Right. John Avey asked me a question, says, photohelix, do you think it's God allowing this or what? Yes, God is allowing it, but I don't think God is causing it. If he were, then that would make him a liar, and God's not a liar. But he did tell you in Scripture these things would take place. And because people would refuse to believe the truth, they had not the love of the truth, or they found pleasure in unrighteousness, that he would allow them to believe the lie. Now, who's the father of lies? Well, that's Lucifer, whose name was later made Satan because he was cast down. He went from the father of light, or the angel of light, to the angel of darkness. So, is God allowing it? The fact that you're breathing and your molecules are held intact, yes, that's allowed by God.
Yeah, and we're still right now.
Do what?
And we're still conscious.
And we're still conscious, exactly. But it doesn't mean that God's causing it. That's like saying, okay, did God cause, I don't know, do we want to touch on 9/11 or just pick the wars, any war where people are out here fighting and killing each other? I mean, just pick some house invasion. I mean, any just pick anything that seems evil in your category or in your understanding, in your area. Somebody run over a busload of nuns, or I don't know, somebody robbed a bank or whatever. Did God allow that? Well, of course he allowed it, because God allows man free will. He could rip the heavens off and make himself known, and everybody would fall and start worshiping, but then that wouldn't be out of love, would it? It'd be out of fear.
Especially if no one's really dying, especially if the person that caused that accident or caused that to happen on purpose is the only one really experiencing it.
And there you go. Well, except for the people that's experiencing it. I mean, like this, for example.
A lot of people fit into another timeline.
Well, look at this, though, okay? Consider the war that's going on, we'll just say, in Syria, okay? Or even in Venezuela. Let's look at Venezuela. Venezuela used to be the place to go, man. It was a beautiful country. And, of course, they have somewhat of a, what do you call those guys that lead by force? A dictator type deal. And there was a lot of drug stuff going on, okay? And they had a lot, Brian mentions human trafficking and things like that, okay? So look at Venezuela. All these people who are just like you and I, may speak a little different language, but they're just like you and I. They bleed red. They're the same as anybody else. They're eating out of trash right now because they don't have food sources. Are you still with me?
Yeah.
Okay, those little kids that are over there that are going through this or being sold into human trafficking or brutalized or murdered or whatever the case may be, they didn't bring that on themselves. They didn't, it's not their fault. They didn't make that reality. And you can't blame their parents. Well, they were born in Venezuela, so that's their fault. No, it wasn't. They didn't design that. They didn't ask for that. All they want is a place to stay, shelter like everybody else, and something to put in their stomachs to stay alive, food.
Yeah,
And most of them would like a little education. But it's not their fault that they were born in Venezuela. God allows everything to be what it is, but it's man's own greed and man's own sin and man's own bloodthirstiness that causes all of these things to take place. It's not I didn't cause it. We talk about how we create our own reality. Well, my reality would be war free, everybody happy and go lucky, and everybody, you could go out and you'd know everybody by name. Well, I'm talking about something that would be almost a heavenly experience. We're talking paradise. Interestingly enough, the paradise burned, didn't it? Paradise, California. Got to look into those too. Raleigh says, not true, photo. I don't know what's not true. I don't know.
What happened?
You got to tell me more than that. You got to say more than just not true, photo.
What happened? What happened in California? Is this it's like Notre Dame?
Yeah.
What's going on with Notre Dame burning? You want to catch me up on that?
Yeah. Right there. There you go. My wife will come in here and get some money from me. Pay my mower.
I agree. Cool mofo. It cool.
Humans have trouble understanding quantum. It is the vast who knows how big. That is right. Not true. It was not man. I don't know which in which perspective.
Okay, let's.
Oh, I got you, Raleigh. I see what you're talking about. He's talking about the fall. And listen, hey, that's the truth behind it all. You have a battle of good and evil in that realm. Everybody talks about AI and things like that. And if you really dig into it, they say they don't know where they're getting their information. It's coming from the other dimension, that spirit realm. And it's the same lie as in the garden. It's the fallen. And we talked about him a while ago, the Lord of the Air waves. I don't know if you got in late or what there, Bo. But anyway, in Paradise, California, there was all these fires that seemed really particular. Mandela Health and stuff's in the room. Hey, so neat to see all these names coming back.
Welcome to stay, bro. I allow everybody's opinions here and everything, and I just think maybe it was a misunderstanding. I don't think that's really a big deal.
What?
I'm not sure. He's you said something and he either misunderstood or took it the wrong way, and you're trying to explain, and he's leaving. That's okay.
Maybe I will go because you don't know the Bible as well as I do. Well, Raleigh, to each his own, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know what part of the Bible that I don't know that you know that I don't know. I don't know. Potato. Anyway, I'm wise enough not to make such a claim.
And we absolutely know the truth, have the truth, and know what it is. We're entertaining all possibilities of just about everything here. That's all I've been doing on my channel for the 3 years.
Right.
Because I honestly believe we don't know. I mean, when somebody says this is what it is, it's God, it's the devil, it's CERN, it's D-Wave. I got caught myself a couple times saying it's CERN. I didn't mean it as absolute law. It's just I was speaking about that in those terms. No, not at all.
Sunny 3 says Raleigh can have my Bible. It keeps changing. Yeah, maybe he's not keeping up with the changes. I don't know. I'm just jesting. I mean, normally, what is it, Raleigh? Yeah, normally he and I shoot on the same point. But yeah, it's not a competition, Raleigh. You probably know a lot more than I do, a lot better than I do. I'll be honest, first one to say it. It's a foolish man to say he knows better than another. I don't know anything. I really don't. I'm just sharing my thoughts.
And that's
so if that bothers you, bro, yeah, you don't know the Bible as well as you think you do, or you don't know the one that made it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Get that out.
But yeah, man, dude, the back to the fires. The fires out there in California, they were really specific in paradise about where the fires took place, melting of the metal and stuff that happens under certain frequencies, high frequencies and things like that. But ultimately, uh, if you look at it and look into it, a lot of people out there were saying there was uh, evidence of blue rays or beams of light or whatever were coming down, and it makes you start looking into some of the military and DARPA projects, which is called DEW, which is directed energy weaponry, and a lot of the same kind of concepts that we've seen at 9/11. So we have some technology there, and what happened out there in paradise, depending on who you ask, I mean, this stuff was burning down into the ground,
What's going
and
on
yet
now?
plastic and stuff was left alone. Do what?
Oh boy. Is it going
What?
on right now?
No, it's done. It's already burnt. It's been a few months ago now. I mean, there are people, don't live there now. I mean, there's all kinds of different, dare I say, conspiracy theories around it. But the idea is that man has some really high power technology in our arsenal, and we really do. Everything from seeding the clouds to the manipulation of time. They've already proven now that they sent a particle back. Now this should be interesting for the Mandela affected, but they've sent a particle backwards in time in one of the labs. Now we have 17 national labs all studying the research as far as ionosphere and things like that. So really crazy stuff. Um, but ultimately, they are showing their stuff, and it's able to be replicated. So it's not just hearsay. I mean, they have shared this now in their writings and in their showing their tests that they're able to maneuver a molecule. Now we're talking about stuff that we're made out of, okay? Things that are so small in the quantum realm that you can't see it. So you almost have to take somebody's word for it, right? But you can see the effects of something after they've done it. The wilting of plants, even, or biological matter, most of it destroys when they put it through these time experiments that they're doing in these different um, what do you call it, laboratories. And this is all over the world, man. This is not just our 17 national labs, which I might add that Fermilab is the #1 employer for those who work at CERN, so that should raise some interest. And the things that they're doing on this molecular level, busting these things together. There's a thing called quantum entanglement. Now, imagine if you're made out of all atoms, okay? You know the Energizer, you're a Star Trek fan. When they say, beam me up, Scotty, even though it doesn't say that now.
I'm still pushing for outer space to be real.
Right? So here's the deal, though. The idea is that when they take apart those particles or the molecules of that human and they put them in another place, they've replicated. It's not even the same person technically. It's a copy. Those that they dissolved didn't change or shoot to another place according to what the science is of it. They would have just replicated it, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't get no Energizer to beam me nowhere. Oh, Armor Up's in the house. Hey, bro. And Joner Games is in the house. Let's see. I says, Joner Games says, I am choked that the human DNA, animal DNA manipulation is not opposed more. In my reality, it was strictly forbidden and frowned upon. Hey, that's another thing. They're putting up bodies now in pig fetuses. I mean, they're actually raising things. They raised this sheep in a plastic bag. Man, they're doing so many crazy things. Oh my
I
gosh.
don't hear about that. So even like those fires you said that was a couple months back. I didn't. I'm not watching the news. I'm not.
It's good not to watch the news, I think, because here's the thing: it seems like everything that goes up in the mainstream media is to distract you from what's actually happening in the world around you, and that's bizarre, you know. And people still they cling to these news facilities or media facilities and think that that's reality, think that everything they're told, even though they know. I mean, how many times was CNN busted during some of the war footage? They were doing green screen and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. It's like, and people still trust that stuff. And all it is talking heads with political jargon and just crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
How long have we been on? You was only going to have me here for about an hour. I know we started late.
Oh, really? You want to get off now?
Well, I'm good with you. I mean, whatever you want to do. We're just ratchet, John.
I just told Armor up we'd probably be on another half hour. I don't know
Okay.
if
Okay.
you're up for that or not.
Yeah, that's fine. I am going to have to go fill my coffee cup, but I can carry you with me since I'm doing this through the phone. I'm watching chat on the computer screen, but I'm going to walk away for a minute because I got to go in here. I'm going to fill my coffee up.
Your coffee, and then I need to go get coffee. So you're going to have to talk to the crowd, or maybe I have to sneak somebody in to have a conversation with you while I go get my coffee.
Whatever you need to do, brother. Whatever you need to do. I'm pouring coffee right now, see? Oh, and it's good, hot.
Me. All I got is just cold beer here that I don't even want.
Oh, I'm drinking hot black coffee, man, and it is so refreshing. They say that heat actually helps cool your system better than cold. Did you know that?
You know, I heard that in some timeline or another.
Yeah, like when you're out mowing or something, if you drink a hot cup of coffee, you'll cool down faster than if you drink cold water or something, or at least drink at room temperature. You're supposed to cool down better. It's not as much of a shock to your system, I guess, or something. I don't know how that works. Jonah Gaines, Wake Up News, passing out coffee cups.
Nice.
He is clock watching. I'm not clock watching. I just looked up and wondered how long we've been on here because I know how Susso is. I get to talk and I can just ramble forever. And
I'm like, go. I'm like, go, man, go. Because I know you ain't been doing this in a long time. And a lot of people said they were excited to hear you chat. This is the most I've, as far as I can recall, this is the most people I've ever had live on a chat. You're staying.
Oh, well, hello, everybody. Well, listen, if you, I used to say on my channel, if you forget me, you ain't forgot nothing. You ain't lost nothing at all. But if you forget God, you've lost it all. You've lost everything. And I still stick by that. I ain't nothing to hear. I'm just another voice out here rambling on and drinking coffee. So it is what it is, right? Slipping Freedom says, I hate cats. They step in poop and then on your table, then parasites start rewiring your brain. Oh!
Ha 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 ha.
Hey, speaking of cats, have you found yours?
I have not. Listen, I'm going with, I see, when I had a problem with a cat once and I felt it right away as quickly as I did with Prince, the first time I felt, hey, something's wrong. Well, this time I'm feeling he's fine. He's exploring. He may have found a hole into a sidewall. And, I'm not too concerned. When I get a chance, I'll go down and tap the walls and call him and he'll meow. But that's the thing. When I've been going down there, he's not meowing. So I'm a little concerned. He got someplace he's not familiar with. And I don't think he got outside. So he got away. We're talking about 9 o'clock in the morning. The bar wasn't open yet. So if he shot down there at the bar and he got in someplace, he's either hiding in a corner and not moving. Who knows? Maybe he was hiding in the ladies' room and somebody grabbed him.
There you go. There you go.
I really want to know. I mean, if he's stuck somewhere or lost, it's my kitty, man. But everybody keeps telling me you're crazy. He's a cat. He knows where he's at. He'll find his way back as soon as he's hungry. Well,
that's what they do.
He's missed 2 meals already. The cat's used to 3 meals a day.
See, he's only missed 2 meals that you put out. Doesn't mean he's missed a meal at all.
You're absolutely right, because there are mice in those walls.
Yeah, cats find a way to eat. That's for sure. I ain't never heard of a cat going hungry necessarily. The Ronin Frequency says, haven't heard photo in a while, so this is awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Ronin. Sunny3 says, Susso has a strange Long Island accent. What's that about now, bro? What's a Long Island accent, huh?
Hey, yo, Sunny3, we're talking Philadelphia over here. It's not Long Island. Okay? Let's do this right. Don't make me go over there and slap you.
You should have been a gangster, bro. You might have been in another dimension, right?
Well, from what I've looked up in my past in another timeline where my consciousness resided, I was a lion fighter and
a priest.
A lion
tamer? Is that what you mean, or a fighter?
a lion. I killed lions in the ring for a living in the Roman days, apparently.
Oh, wow. Wow. Where are you getting that information, bro?
Oh, it was a combination of me doing a meditation and coming up with something very close to that, and then a psychic telling me. And I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of weird. Also, the priest, my very next life, I became a priest because I felt bad about killing all the lions because I kept winning.
You got to write another book, brother. I'm telling you. Oh, man. So are you going to go get you some coffee? What are we doing? What are you?
I get coffee. I kind of invited a friend and can hop in if you don't want to step on. Oh, I got somebody that I invited in but doesn't want to step on your toes.
Who would that be?
Well, I don't think he's going to step on your toes. You trust me?
I don't trust no one. Now, let me tell you this. The Bible says trust. Listen to me. You can bring anybody in. That's fine. But the Bible says trust no man, but to trust God only.
Okay.
And so if you want my answer, I ain't worried about getting my toes stepped on. I get my face stepped on all the time. Toes is the least of my.
Do you trust his armor?
Do I trust his armor?
You trust God. Do you trust his armor?
Well, I trust God's armor. Is that who you're bringing in?
There you go.
See?
Yeah. I was trying to.
Is he coming on? Really? No kidding? I hadn't got to talk to him in forever, man.
He does not want to step on your toes. You're having a great show.
How's that going to step on my toes?
I don't know. I'm going to go get coffee because he just jumped in. Everybody have a good time.
Hey,
there you go. Hey, you're there. Hey, bro.
Man, long time, brother.
I know. How are you?
I didn't want to steal your thunder. They heard me earlier today with Susso. They've been wanting to hear the photo man. Like me, man. We ain't heard you in forever. And I didn't get notified. Missed an hour of the show.
You ain't missed a whole lot, I'll be honest. How you been doing, bro?
Oh, I've been doing good. Staying busy.
I heard that,
talking to you, brother. For sure.
Well, talk to me, man. I ain't heard you in a long time. I got that. Well, I say that. I did go over and watch. Susso had come over and done a show with you and Dan on, what's that, After Hours Club?
Yeah.
And he ate a snowball. I like to die. I could not. That was so funny.
That plastic snowball.
Oh, my gosh. That was so funny.
No way I'd have put that in my mouth.
I had tears in my eyes, brother. That was just so funny. Y'all talked me into it. Oh, that was so funny. So how you been, man?
I've been awesome. Doing a show with, well, of course, Dan and Hebrew and me's doing a show now on Sundays too. Shameless.
Oh, really?
Me, Hebrew, and Sagittarially Speaking. Sagittarially Speaking is quite fascinating.
What channel is that on now? What's the name of the channel for that?
That's on Hebrew's channel.
Hebrews?
His name's, he changed it now. Bruce Wayne is not Batman, formerly known as Hebrew. He did that to mess with Dan on the call out.
Bruce Wayne is not Batman. Is that, if I type that in, I'll find the channel?
Should be able to.
Okay, I'll try and catch you over there.
Maybe
you say on Sundays?
Yeah, we do that one Sunday at, I think it's 8 o'clock our time, Eastern.
Okay. I don't get on very often. I really don't. I work, eat, and sleep. That's about it. I got a family, so you know how that works. Everybody's been hollering at me to try and do some more videos, and I've been working on it. I got one that I shelved. It was like halfway through, and everything going on. Really, it's just life. You know how it is. And,
well, I just want to say,
bread on the table.
Any footage I did for you, you're still more than welcome to be used, and I'd still be quite honored if you used it. So,
well, brother, I appreciate
any worries there. Let that be cleared up immediately.
Oh, well, man, and nobody knows what we're talking about, but I appreciate that. You just don't know. That means a lot to me. It really does, brother.
Yeah, I do miss talking to you, sincerely. Like I said, a lot of people don't know everything behind the scenes, but hey, man, I do miss you. Love you, brother, no doubt.
I miss you too. Well, Dan called me, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was. And me and him talked for probably, half hour, 45 minutes or so, just shooting the bull and just chit-chatting a little bit. And I told him, I said, yeah, you have to holler at me sometime. I'll come over and ratchet jaw with y'all sometime. I'd love it.
Heck yeah. Yeah, we'll have to get you on the Hebrew show sometime if you want.
Sure. I've been This is the first real show that I've done in a long time. I would hang out with Awakened Saint and do shows with him on occasion.
I lurk and watch them when I can. I never catch them live. You guys are too early for me, but I always watch the replays.
Well, when he's over there in Saudi, see, he has to do them different times, and so during the weekdays, it's sort of difficult for me these days. So I would catch him on Sunday, and excuse me, we'd have to move it around. He'd move it up earlier or later, I guess earlier his time, so that we could actually do a show together. But I've talked to him a few times on chat, I mean, not chat, but on like text messages and stuff. We talk on the phone, but I hadn't really done a show. Gosh, I haven't done a show for nobody in a long time. I'm trying to remember the last person I'd done a show with, or that I called in and talked to somebody, but I can't remember. But it's fun. I mean, I miss it. I miss really being involved and stuff. But I do try and check in and watch things from time to time and see what everybody's doing and how everybody's doing and what everybody's up to, that kind of thing. But I do miss it. We had some really great conversations. I just like I said, man, I mean, I got a 10-year-old I got to worry about and doing this, that, and the other, and we're remodeling the house, and you know how it is when you're just trying to live and still exist in this strange, changing world as it is.
Yeah, I heard that. We do the best we can do in this crazy world. And with a 10-year-old, oh yeah, you got your hands full. That's alone enough, let alone the house remodeling and everything else. Heck yeah.
I mean, yeah. We just we put her in a different room, and she'd been wanting that room as a bedroom for a while, and so she's all excited about that change, and we're in here redoing this. My wife's got me fixing a gym. We got her back at Christmas time. Well, it was her birthday. Her birthday was before Christmas. And we got her one of them punching bags, talking about my wife now. And we used to do martial arts and all that kind of workout stuff. And so I got her a big old punching bag, got her boxing gloves, got the kids some boxing gloves, got all these different things for setting it all up. And that was back before Christmas. And at Christmas time, I went and got them more things to go with it, and promised we're going to make a gym. We're going to turn that back room into a gym. And so it's just been slow, but we're now in the process. I'm now in the process of doing that too. And it's just, buying a house is a dangerous, it's like buying a boat, brother. It's just, you're constantly sinking money into it.
Oh, and, no doubt. I own my own house and it's been paid off, but yeah, it's holes in the floor and roofs leaking. It never ends. It never ever ends.
Right. Yeah, just when you fix one end of it and there's a leak on the other end, it's like, oh no, are you kidding? I've got to put a French drain in on the outside of the driveway. I've got water coming in under the foundation on the far side.
Talk to me.
Say what now?
This is shooting the bull. Catching up talk. That's what this is.
Okay. Well, I got no breath anyway. I just ran up and down these steps, and there's no oxygen up here in the mountains. So please continue.
Hey, Armor, you would be proud of me though. I've started drinking my coffee black all the time now.
I heard that. That's why I jumped in. I was going to say coffee black. He's a man.
There you go.
I've been drinking my coffee absolutely black for about 4 to 6 months now, but never before in my life.
I've been drinking my coffee black since I was like 10.
That's why he's got that low raspy voice. That sexy voice.
Coffee all this time.
Alone One says, Slipping Freedoms, I am disabled and have 6 inside cats. They are the greatest joy in my life. I don't mind cleaning after them, but I understand what you're saying. They're having conversations about cats and chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Ral says, my little brother is black belt in karate, but I can still kick his butt. Hey, Susso, I have one question for Photo. All right, Ral, throw it out there. I may or may not have an answer. I may pass the buck on to God's Armor.
Drink coffee with raw, unpasteurized.
I was just here to fill the empty void while we got coffee. They want to hear the Photo, not the Armor.
Okay, Ral says, who is the Antichrist power? I believe that means anti. Is that what he's saying? Who is the Antichrist power?
I believe so, yes.
I would think.
Oh, great. So anybody want to jump on that one?
It says
the power behind it. We know who the power behind it is, don't we? We know that. We know that's the fallen. That's Satan, right?
Can I jump in though?
Yeah.
Who and I'm asking a question. I'm playing devil's advocate here. Who created Satan? Who created Lucifer? Hello?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I thought you were still in the question. I'm sorry.
Who created the evil? Who created Lucifer? Who created
The
Satan?
Bible says God created it.
Okay.
That's what the Bible says.
But God didn't create the evil. He just created the being who was good when he was created.
Oh, I could absolutely see that.
He was perfect, but it says God created evil in the Bible. It does say that actually, but it's in a reference. It's in a reference to the fallen, because when he first made Lucifer, he was the angel of light. He was perfection. He was the most perfect of all creatures. It was his own freedom of will that God gave him in his perfection that caused him to fall to jealousy and want to be as God.
But the Christ was around then at the time too, correct?
The Bible says Christ was in the beginning, because he is the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. So when a lot of people question, well, in the beginning, when God says, let us create man in our own image, there's a lot of question there. If people would go back and look at, and I think God's Armor will probably back me up on this one, if they'll look at the first and second book of Adam and Eve, they're not considered biblical as far as the church. They're those extra biblical sources. But the first and second book of Adam and Eve, people would understand the creation of Lucifer and Adam and why we're here and a whole bunch of stuff. And, of course, I would suggest reading the book of Enoch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The first book of Adam and Eve is very eye-opening. The second,
big time.
Second one, there's a few things I'm not sure how to take it, because they go with the XIII theory, which I don't, in the second book.
Can I get the Cliff's notes?
Is it Cliff Notes or Cliffs?
Yeah. It's pretty hard to cliff note, but it really explains a lot.
I like the first book best. I think it goes right along with the biblical aspect too. It doesn't.
Must read. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And here's the thing: there's people on YouTube that have recorded it, folks. If you don't have time to read it, you just want to hear what's said. It will give you a whole brand new understanding of the creation of the garden, of these other dimensions, the aspect of the garden being just above and out of our view. I mean, there's so much to it, really. And but there's people out there that have recorded the whole thing, so you can listen to it without having to read the first word.
The book of Adam and Eve, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
The first book of Adam and Eve, and a good channel to listen to it on is Apocryphal 1970. He does great readings of all those books.
Well, please pop his link in the chat.
God's Armor, you're a specialty at that kind of stuff.
I don't have a wrench, but anyone, just look up Apocryphal.
For your name.
Look up Apocryphal 1970. It's easy to find. Maybe one of the wrenches could pop it in.
He does do a good work on it. And I would suggest everybody especially if you're a biblical type person, definitely go in there and listen to the first book of Adam and Eve. That's just, it will give you such an insight as to who you are and what we are.
And what this flesh suit's all about if you look at it deep enough.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of clues. It ain't all spelled right out, but yeah, there's a lot of, man, it's a must read, but you must do it with the Spirit, no doubt.
That's right. That's right. And it's the kind of thing that you want to probably end up doing over and over, and maybe even taking some notes. Right?
Oh yeah. I've read it a couple times. Enoch a couple times. Absolutely. Thomas a couple times. They're all good, but they definitely you grow well, it's just like the Bible itself. Every time you read it, you learn something new. It's the same way.
That's right.
In my opinion.
So
I really want to know who the Antichrist power is. The Antichrist power, phrased that way, is anything that goes against Jesus, in my opinion.
That's right. That's what it says.
Any person, any entity, any form of business, anything that goes against Christ is the Antichrist.
That's right.
That's what it means.
That's biblical. That's solid.
You just asked another question, and I'm actually interested in. I think I know how I would answer that, but I'm not sure it's the biblical answer. What is the mark of the beast? He's directing at the photo. I'm sure it's for either of you.
The Mark of the Beast.
Yeah.
People have different perspectives as to what they think it is. My personal opinion is it says in there that you cannot buy nor sell, save he that had the mark or the number of his name. And that number. Slipping Freedom says the mark of the beast is in your mind or in your actions. You won't be able to buy or sell without worshiping the beast system. Something we was talking about, that number, the 666. Hey, Scott Balo's in the house too. Awesome, man.
I just don't understand that. I never had a problem with this guy, but he comes in going, watch them not answer my question, Data Junkie. And he kept saying this.
Don't let him harsh our vibe, brother. Don't let the enemy win. You got people's been wanting to hear him. Let's just roll with the flow, man.
Roll with the flow. I like God's armor thoughts. Roll with the flow. Just go with the punches, man. Roll with it. Roll with it.
I've been on time, and, you know, I had some bull crap going on in another channel. Let's see, how long are we in? Because I'm sure I'm going to want to edit that out.
I don't even know, bro. I haven't been watching the clock. I
apologize, people. I apologize for me snapping the way I did. I just, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I don't need people attacking other people, and that's just the way it is.
It's cool, brother. I got armor on and thick skin, so it didn't even penetrate.
It didn't even step on my toes to make fun.
I was hoping it didn't step on your toes.
So anyway, check this out, though. The www can be called Vav, which is 666 in the Hebrew aspect. And, well, we're on the www, so if you want to get technical, think about these things. What is an image? Now, remember, back in the day that this was written, there weren't no TVs, right? So these are things just to think about, okay? The television, they tell you, is an image. It's the computer is an image. The World Wide Web. Why they call it a web? The internet. Why is it a World Wide Web? And everybody's attached to it in one form or another, whether it's through their phones and the internet. I'm talking on my phone, but I'm watching it on a screen on my computer. Just crazy stuff, right? So why is it that we're all watching an image? Now, the Bible says it's going to create an image of the beast, which is this beast system, right? This world that we're in even, perhaps. And the image will both speak and live. And if you look at it, you've got moving pictures all over this thing, right? And everybody's giving it their time. They're sitting in front of screens everywhere you go, the black scrying screen of old. And now it has moving pictures. It's all on the www. And everybody's tuned in, and everybody's linked in with all these moving images and all of these things. Now, what does it mean to worship? It says it's going to cause all to worship the image of this beast. Well, if you look at it, it's this screen. You're spending time there, all your time in front of it. Is that not a form of worship, considering the definition of the word? It really is. So we should probably be leery of the things that we're watching and tuned into, giving our worship, as it were, to this World Wide Web, the Vav, 666. Because we're letting the things on it enter into our minds to steer us. It tells us what to eat, how to dress. We even learn a lot of vocabulary, LOL, for instance, from this system, this screen. And everybody is getting tapped into it in one way or another. As a matter of fact, everywhere you go now, if you're signing up for some sort of a contract, or you're signing up for receipts or whatever it is that you're trying to get business-wise, one of the first things they ask you, it's not your Social Security now, they want to know what your email is. What's your email account? How are you hooked in? And you almost have to have an email in some cases. We go to jobs, and we get our jobs, and we go to a paycheck. Well, the paycheck goes straight to the bank. We don't see that cash. We don't see it on a paper. It goes straight in. It's all electronic done, okay? And just like the Tower of Babel, where everyone spoke one language, now you can speak to anybody anywhere in the world at the push of a button using this screen that you're looking at. You can talk to people that you can't understand in Chinese because now there are all these little things in place where it will translate for you so that you can carry on business and conversations with anybody, anywhere in the world at any time. Tower of Babel's all been rebuilt. And what do we see when we're looking at these images? I don't know, an image of the beast, pornography, things that are bad. You hear bad words, you hear bad frequencies. They play different kinds of concepts that mess with your mind, that create fear in your life. You can't watch the media. They talk about all the fake news, and yet you come to find out that a lot of the stuff that you're told, that you've been taught all your life, maybe was a lie from the beginning. The Bible says at the end that everybody's going to see that one who lied to the whole world. He deceiveth the whole world. That's all of us, folks. We've all been deceived in one form or another. There ain't none of us above it. There's none that hasn't been deceived in one form or another. That's a fact of reality. That's the truth. None of us know it all. That's also the truth. And the fact that we're here using this technology against the system, because if it was up to them, they'd just go ahead and come in here, get everybody marked up. You remember there was a show come out not long ago with, I don't know if it was the Bilderbergs or the Rothschilds or whichever ones, and what they wanted to do was have everybody chipped. Well, they're doing that in certain places. Look over in, is it Sweden? Oh my goodness, it's one of those countries over there around Sweden. I don't know if it's Sweden exactly, but I can't remember now which country it is. But they've made it mandatory for their national IDs, and people are going in and they're getting their little chip. It's just an implant. But if you look at the word mark in the original text, it's charagma. Well, what is charagma? The word charagma is to engrave or to prick, to implant. That's charagma. And it's defined or translated as mark in the Revelation. So we look up charagma and we follow through and see what the base word is for that. And then we start finding out what you know. A lot of people now are able to buy and sell all with this little chip that they've got. No money required. Well, what would that do for society? Well, for one, it's going to make it a lot easier because nobody's going to rob people no more unless they want to cut your hand off, and that's going to be hard to pass off in the store, just scan your hand. Well, as long as it's yours. But my gosh, you're not going to, what about people that don't have hands? What about somebody that's had one of their hands cut off? Well, everybody's got a head or they're not walking around. So it could be in the forehead, and there's only two places in your body. Think about this. When you had a little cold or you were running a little warm fever, what did your mom do? She'd take the back of her hand and touch it to the forehead. She'd put her lips to the forehead. If you look into the actual physical anatomy of the human structure, the back of the right hand and the forehead are the only two places in the human anatomy that run the same way with the veins that actually work as a cooling system the way they do, that could power a chip using certain batteries. It could recharge it because of the way the blood flow works in those two areas. That's some pretty amazing stuff. Now, is that what it is? I don't know, but it's things to be considered, things that we should be watching for. If anybody's going to force it, I mean, really? What happens for those people? What if they did come to America? Let's just say all of us here in the U.S. and they say, okay, we're going to do this national ID system, but instead of a card that can be stolen or can be faked or remanufactured, what if we let's do it with this implant thing? It's not really bad. You just go in. It's nothing more than getting a vaccination, which they keep pushing that bigger and bigger. Just go in and get this put in, and now you're in the world system, the WWW. You're tacked in. You can pull up your taxes. You can do all your banking. You can do everything medical. If they find you unconscious, they can scan it and automatically they know what you're allergic to, and they know what your medical history is, and they know everything through that one little chip. Right now, on the pencil dot of lead, they can store the whole House of Congress, Library of Congress, on the dot of a pencil lead. If you understand what I mean, how small we're talking. Now imagine a chip the size of a grain of rice. Do you think they can't store your whole history on there? And then add in the concept of all the molecules and the particles that's already in our system from the stuff that we keep getting sprayed with through chemtrails and through the water sources that we drink and all the different poisons that are in our system. Put in a chip with some sort of a DNA turn on. And they've already shown you, if you just look into the science of these things, what they call quantum kind of computer systems, the quantum stuff that they put into your system, that you can even swallow a vitamin and it has a camera that can go through your whole system. Is this some crazy stuff we got in our technology now? So imagine that they put this chip in there, and that chip with the new G5 source frequencies clicks on. And now, well, it wouldn't take a whole lot to wipe you out, would it? Or at least control you. And if you didn't stay within the same framework, well, they could always turn your chip off and then you'd be out in blue.
Now,
So those are, go ahead.
How are they giving this chip out? Don't you
over there in that country they were doing it? Well, they've done it in one place here in America. They've done it for a company. Where the people get in and out of the door with the chip. That's their ID system. Instead of having a card that can be stolen because of the secrecy to the lab and stuff like that, they do it with a chip. You just scan your hand like you would a barcode kind of thing. You just run it over the little window or the eye, and it reads it.
I think is what I'm getting at.
What is it?
What if you don't have a choice? And I don't mean that they give you the choice and you're forced to take it. I'm saying, what if they're giving it? What if they've been giving it to the babies since the 90s?
Well, can I chime in on that one? Because
yeah, go.
Noble made a good point. I'm pretty sure it was Noble. He brought up something I had never noticed before. But when you read about the mark of the beast, basically it says the beast will cause people to take the mark, not that they have a choice to take it. He will cause them to take it, meaning basically you're going to take it. I think that's why it says that woe to those who take the mark and worship the beast. So I don't know if I'm not saying this the way it is. Again, my opinion, I could be wrong. But Noble brought this up and it blew my mind when I looked at it this way. So maybe even if we are forced or tricked through a vaccine or whatever, food,
I figured
maybe if we are made to take the mark like the Bible says, as long as we don't worship the beast, we're okay. That's just one way to look at the reading.
I like that.
Check us out. Over there in Revelation, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you're not worshiping, you're going to end up dead, most likely. Right before that, it says, he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And then it goes on, but right previous to that, we find out that it was given unto him up there in 7, same chapter, to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Where's he getting all this power from? Well, if we look back into the Old Testament, we find out there's a major war that's supposed to take place, that at least a third of the population of man, for the most part, is going to be pretty well devastated. It talks about that of Ezekiel war, people refer to, the Gog and Magog. And when that goes down, that the monetary systems are going to be pretty well worthless. So, what are they going to do? Well, enter the Antichrist, the man with all the answers, to bring peace after all the war, to bring peace immediately to the world, and all the answers that everybody is seeking, how to feed the public, how to house everybody, how to do all of this. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to force them to take the mark of the beast. So, go ahead.
Double 9 says, wouldn't be too far a jump to put nanotech in the mosquitoes, the ones that he was talking about earlier. Was it a TED talk that they were talking about putting tech in mosquitoes? They would bite people and they'd have this tech in them. I addressed that in another show earlier this morning when I said it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, check this out. Here's something that a lot of people miss. I've never heard very many people talk about. But if you go over into chapter 17, where it's talking about these things. Let's see, is it 17 that I want to look at or 16? Let's see. Wait with me. Because that's talking, 17's talking about that one. I believe it's 16. Okay, so check this out. In 16, and it's talking, it says, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So that tells me that everybody doesn't have that mark. We also find out when we look back over into the verse or chapter 15, where it talks about, let's see, is it 15 or 14? God's armor, where am I looking for? Where the scorpions come up out of the thing.
I'm not sure, brother.
Is it 12 maybe? Hold on, I'm looking here a minute. Let's see, because 13's where it does that. Let's see, I believe it's over here. Okay, yeah. Chapter 9 in the book of Revelation. Check this out. This is talking about that bottomless pit. Everybody's talking about Apollyon and that kind of thing. And everybody refers to that place of CERN because it was built on that very place where they worshipped Apollo and Abaddon. It says in chapter 9, and the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given. Now, a lot of times in Scripture, we see that star is a reference name for one of the angels. And it says, and the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him, that star, was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given powers as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, and neither any tree, but only those men who have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, that there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. And nobody reads past that because they're all entranced with these scorpion-type flying locusts. But they never get to the next part, what cleans it up. The sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. And by these 3 was the 3rd part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. So now, that brings me to something. A lot of the stuff that we see when we read in Scripture is John's vision, but he's seeing in that spiritual realm. Right now, all around us, and I think anybody that has a spiritual experience, I'm sure God's armor would back me on this, that we know that there are fallen angels and there are righteous angels. And they're all around us at all times in that realm, that ether that you speak of, Susso, that place just beyond our vision or our perception, that place where they exist, fighting for the souls of man. So when these things are taking place, what we see in reality on the earth unfolding in wars and all the desolations and all the things taking place is sort of the outpour of what is taking place in that spiritual realm, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Everything you say to me makes sense.
Yeah, you've been on a long day.
Yeah, it's all just for me. I'm going to end this now. I know it's the most people I've ever had watch on one of my live streams. But I got the right people on.
There you go. Well, listen, I want to say hi to everybody. Before you close it, you already have God's armor do his famous shout outs, man.
Go ahead.
All right. I knew that was coming. If you want to speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, we got Fire Drake 009, Data Junkie with a Wrench, Wake Up News, Robin Keneally, Oregon D, Tonette with a Wrench. Speak up, people. Who else? We got Eddie Von Keen. Screwing up. See who we miss.
Thanks, Tammy.
Wendy Crenshaw. Oh, good to see Wendy Crenshaw. Hope her and Ben are doing well. Slipping Freedoms, Caleb Sorrell. It cool, mofo. It cool. It cool, man.
What's that name?
Like that name. It cool, mofo. It cool. Jeff Ray. Adam Fleischer. Hopefully I got that one right. Alone One. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Let me scroll down and see if anyone spoke up since then. Soto, Johnner Games, Tammy Craft. It is happening now. Monica M. Ryan. Landon Pets with a Wrench. He was here and had some awesome words earlier. Well said, Landon. Well said. All right, I think I got everybody. If I missed you, sorry. Data Junkie with a Ranch. He just popped up. All right. And thanks for inviting me on, Sue. It's good to talk to Photo again and hear him.
Perfect timing. I definitely needed some coffee. And everybody, I will be on Unbiased and on the Fence in about a half hour. 8 o'clock it's scheduled for. After that, according to Nobleness D, he's going to get me on Scarab's show. I actually hope that works out. Me and Dan didn't really plan anything. And then Cowboy Late Night, where I'll be sleeping listening to them talk, I'm sure.
Awesome. What time's the next one? Unbiased?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Unbiased and on the Fence.
Okay, so that'd be, I think, 10 our time, right, Photo?
Channel. I think this is the
last
live thing I'll be doing on my channel. Once I'm done with Cowboy, I'm going to pop up a 2-hour video of my top 10 biggest hits. I'll definitely be sleeping through that. I won't be chatting with you guys, although I know it's expected for people to be there during premieres, so maybe I'll just post it. I don't know. I like having the chat there later on when you watch it and stuff. It's kind of neat. See what people are talking
about. Susso, I look forward to your continued growth of your channel and the stuff you're doing. I like the idea that you're on this marathon, running around, bouncing all over. It's awesome. It's awesome. And thanks for the opportunity to be able to holler at God's Armor again. That's just so awesome, man.
Yeah, it was fun. That was fun. I'm glad you guys had a chance to do that.
Yep, good talking to you, brother. And again, feel free to use any footage I give you. I made that for you from the heart, and do what you will with it, my brother.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. I really do.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. See most of you, if not all, is in a half hour.
Susso, one last word of advice to you.
Hey, the Truth Seeker 69. What's up there, neighbor? What's up there, Photo? What do you got? And Awakened Saint. Everybody's coming in now.
Awakened Saint. Hey! Last word of advice to you. Don't be eating the snowballs, bro. Don't eat the snowballs.
I can't believe he ate that snowball.
I didn't.
It was fun. I love you, and thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you all later, Lord willing.
All right, guys. See you in a bit. Thanks a lot, you two.
All right. Bye-bye.
Later, oh.
Yeah. Later, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been enjoying bouncing around on the Susso marathon today. Lots of interesting.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
We're still live. We're still live.
Probably. You know how he is about pushing buttons. He's half asleep, I think.
I gotta go back and watch Awakened Saints because, of course, I was asleep when that one was on.
Yeah, I was supposed to see Awakened too earlier. Me and him's got to get together and do another show. Sure enough. All right, man. Yeah, I'll try and look for you, Armor, over there on that thing. You said it's the name of his channel one more time.
Yeah, they say they still hear us. We're still alive.
well, good. There's your shout out. What was the name of his channel?
It's what Bruce Wayne is not Batman, formerly known as Hebrew. It's huge, but I think if you start typing Bruce Wayne is not Batman and go to channel, you'll probably find it.
That'll work. That'll work. Okay, we'll catch y'all later.
All right, see you later.
All right, bye.
All right, Sue, so you're still live, but I'm off. So everybody left but me. We're still live. All right, everyone. Have a good night. I don't know how long the live will be up. I'll see you in a half hour.